everybody, Chris G here, Positively Progressing. Thank you so much for tuning in and for your continued watching habits. So for the next 2-5 Tuesdays, it's a lot of twos, I am featuring a couple of amazing saxophone players. These two dudes are some of the most coveted, best and brightest coming up in New York these days. You might have heard of them, Sam Dillon and Andrew Gould. You may have also heard they came out with a new album. It's called It Takes One to Know One. Go check it out on Spotify or Apple Music or wherever you're streaming music these days. So this week we have a line from Sam that I'm going to break down. Next time we will listen and break down a line from Andrew. Okay, so let's listen to Sam's line again. All right, this guy is just on another level. Here it is a little slower. I'm going to be honest, the first time I heard this line, I had a ton of things going on in my head of what is happening here in this line.
What?
What am I hearing? Why does this sound so crazy to my ears? But my first thought was, wow. So I had an idea what was happening, but I wanted to go directly to the source. And Sam, being the stand-up, nice guy that he is, he offered to walk me through it, tell me what he was thinking, tell me why he wrote the line the way he wrote it, and how complicated the line is in a very, very cool way. And once we break it down, you'll understand it a little bit better and you'll enjoy this sound and maybe explore this sound on your own. So the first two beats are a very hip, also very new to me, Enclosure. Then things start to get very interesting. Sam explained to me that what he wanted to do was carry a theme throughout, and that theme throughout this whole line, it happens in the 2-bar, the 5-bar, and the 1-bar, is that there is some form of diminished sound happening in every single bar in this line. You might notice that beats 3 and 4 is a D major triad. Simple, right? Not so much. If we're just going surface level, yes, we can identify that as a D major triad, but it comes from a different place. And Sam also told me that Train did stuff like this all the time. So, hold on to your seats. If people say that, or if you're sitting down, I'm about to throw a bunch of stuff at you. This stuff gets pretty deep. Let's start digging. So if we were to make the chords of this line a tritone sub, it would look more like this. Instead of having F minor 7, B flat 7 to E flat major, we would have B minor 7 to E7 to E flat major. That D major triad that we saw in beats 3 and 4 closely resembles B minor 7, right? It's using 3 out of the 4 chord tones, but it's also related to the 5 chord that would resolve to B flat 7, and that 5 chord would be F7. That would give us a flat 9 13 sound over F7, which is typically related to, you guessed it, the diminished sound. So if you've heard of diminished chords / scales, then you might know that there are only 3 chords / scales, and each of them is related to 4 keys. So you only need to learn 3 diminished scales, and you know the diminished scales for all of the keys. Okay, so here's where it gets pretty deep. F7 has sister chords to steal from the great Barry Harris. Now these sister chords are A flat 7, B7, and you guessed it, D7, like I said before, is closely related to B minor 7, which is a tritone sub for F minor 7. I told you this gets deep. Alright, the 5 chord is dripping in diminished language. Remember, the diminished sound is the leading theme of this line. And in this bar, we have all of the colors happening. We got the flat 9, we got the sharp 9, we got the sharp 11, we have the natural 13. Let's move on to the 1 chord. Well, what do you know? There's another diminished element in the 1 chord. Now Sam's using the diminished 1, pretty classic sound, over the 1 chord here, and then finally landing on the major 7. Like I said before, the sound of this line, and when I first heard it, I realized this is not something that I naturally would play or would naturally come to me. It's something very unfamiliar to me, unfamiliar territory. But I think that's why I love it so much. Because it's so unfamiliar, I'm drawn to it. I feel like it's pushing me, and I think that's a good thing. I think these are the moments as musicians that help us grow, to help push our boundaries, push our limits every day. Find these sounds and explore them. I promise you, you will get so much out of it. So what do we do now? Well, let's find some pieces of this line and insert it into our own playing. Maybe it's the new hip enclosure at the beginning of the line. I just started writing new 2/5 lines with that enclosure, coming soon. Or the entire 5 chord. I said if you want some great diminished language, learn that in a half step up and a half step down, and you got it in all 12 keys. Instead of using your usual major language, how about go explore that one diminished sound? All right, it's time to go. It's time to go explore. It's time to get off of YouTube. Go listen to It Takes One to Know One. Go get inspired. I hope you all learned something from this amazing line by the one and only Sam Dillon. Can't thank you enough, Sam. Appreciate you. Go grab the album. Check out the link below for a physical album. Yes, a physical copy of an album. You can have it in your hands and play it in an actual CD player. Check out the link below. It takes one to know one. Go tell your friends about the album. Go tell your friends about the line. Go tell your friends about the channel. Until next time, just remember, always positive, always progressing. Thanks. Later.